It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update as a Wyatt family reunion has been confirmed. Is CM Punk set to take on Kazuchika Okada in the United Center? And an AEW Dream signing is set to debut. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Last night, NXT would hold their New Year's Evil television special where two new champions were crowned. Firstly, Carmelo Hayes and Roderick Strong would compete in a title unification match with both the NXT North American and NXT Cruiserweight Championships on the line. In the end, Carmelo would come out on top to win the belts. It had previously been revealed that the unified title was going to be named the NXT North American Cruiserweight Championship. However, it has now been confirmed that Hayes will simply be known as the NXT North American Champion. This marks the end of the NXT Cruiserweight Championship, which has been active since 2016 following the Cruiserweight Classic. This move likely means the Cruiserweight division is no more, with the future not looking so bright for 205 Live. In the main event of New Year's Evil, the brand's main title, the NXT Championship, was on the line as Tommaso Ciampa took on the challenge of Bron Breakker. In what would turn out to be a symbolic act, Bron would break a styrofoam X from the old NXT logo, this on his way to the ring, before defeating Ciampa to become the new official face of NXT 2.0. NXT would undergo a rebrand in September 2021, with Breakker tipped to be a top guy not only on NXT, but the main roster in the future, and we are now entering the next chapter of his rise. This ends Ciampa's 111-day reign that began on the first episode of the NXT rebrand. After the show, Bron Breakker's father, Rick Steiner, would come to the ring to celebrate with his son, although there was no Uncle Scott in sight. Next up, let's go to a story regarding tonight's AEW World Championship match between Hangman Page and Bryan Danielson, as the first judge has been revealed for the match. Page is scheduled to defend his title against Danielson on the Dynamite TBS premiere, with judges in place to avoid yet another draw like we saw last time around. In an update posted to Twitter, it has been confirmed that Max Caster, one half of the Acclaimed, will be judge number one. Whilst he claims that he's going to cool things down the middle, he would hint that he may be on Danielson's side, and Caster would tweet, "Just got the call, since Platinum Max is the best wrestler alive, AEW has booked me to be one of the judges for the world title match. Don't worry, I'll call it down the middle, let's go Bryan Dragon." Although he's the only judge announced at this point, the odds seem to be in the favour of Bryan Danielson at this point, with AEW perhaps setting up a title change via decision at the hands of heel judges. This booking adds a lot of jeopardy to the match, with Hangman needing to score a win before the time ends, now more than ever. New Japan Pro Wrestling are in the midst of their Wrestle Kingdom 16 event, with the show spanning 3 nights. 2 of the 3 shows are now in the record books, so let's run down what's happened so far. One of the most notable matches on the card would see the competitive in-ring return of Katsuyori Shibata, who defeated Ren Narita in his first competitive match since his retirement in April 2017. He had previously been ruled out of wrestling due to head injuries, but now it seems he's back full time. The first night would also see 3 title changes take place, with Evil dethroning Tomohiro Ishii to become the new Never Openweight champion. The IWGP Tag Team Championships also changed hands, with Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi winning the titles from Dangerous Tekkers, the team of Taishi and Zack Sabre Jr. And in the main event of Night 1, Kazuchika Okada would battle Shingo Takagi for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, with Okada ultimately winning New Japan's top prize. Night 2 would feature a hard-fought bloody battle between IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion Kenta and Hiroshi Tanahashi under no disqualification rules, with Tanahashi ending the match by driving his opponent through a table from the top of a ladder, beginning his second reign with the belt. The second night would conclude with Kazuchika Okada's first title defense of his newly won IWGP World Heavyweight title, taking on the self-proclaimed real World's Heavyweight Champion Will Ospreay, who was forced to vacate the belt in early 2021. Okada would leave no doubt over who was the true champion, defeating Ospreay in a 30-minute war. Now let's go to a story regarding a brand new WWE name change. When WWE rename their superstars, they typically like to make the names shorter. Examples of this are Antonio Cesaro becoming Cesaro, Alexander Rusev becoming Rusev, or more recently Matt Riddle simply becoming Riddle. In an unusual move, WWE have added a middle name to a former world champion, with Seth Rollins now officially known as Seth freaking Rollins. The change was seemingly confirmed last week when Rollins would take to Twitter to say, Seth freaking Rollins on the birth certificate, babes. Whilst this did used to be his nickname, the full name would be used this past weekend at the Day 1 event, with the change now coming into effect on Seth's official WWE.com roster page and his WWE shop page. But what do you think of Seth Rollins' new name? Let me know in the comments down below. Last Friday on AEW Rampage New Year's Smash, Andrade El Idolo would distract Darby Allin after his win over Anthony Bowens, allowing the Acclaimed to score some cheap shots on Darby and Sting. This distraction seems to be setting up a feud between Darby and Andrade, and it seems the latter may be bringing in some backup to counter Allin's ally Sting. Andrade would take to Twitter this week to tease the appearance of Sting's old-time rival, Ric Flair, who just so happens to be Andrade's father-in-law, and Andrade would tweet, "Hello, Kid Darby Allin. Nice to meet you, Sir Sting. Remember, I have many friends in the business, but just one father-in-law." The tweet would be accompanied by a photo of Andrade and Ric Flair shaking hands at Triple Mania. Although reports have previously stated that Andrade was no longer in a relationship with Flair's daughter Charlotte, a Christmas post from the couple confirmed that they are in fact still together. Whilst a Ric Flair AEW debut has been speculated on for a while, he is yet to appear for the promotion. Flair was released from his WWE contract last August, although this was shortly followed by the release of the Plane Ride from Hell episode of Dark Side of the Ring, which featured several allegations against the Nature Boy. This did add doubt on whether AEW would risk signing him with the inevitable backlash that would follow, although Andrade's tweet does seem to confirm a future appearance from Flair. Next, let's go to the independent scene, where there is set to be a reunion of two former Wyatt family members. Northeast Wrestling is set to hold their WrestleFest 26 event on January 22nd in Poughkeepsie, New York, where the former Braun Strowman is set to team up with the former Eric Rowan. Now going by the names of Adam Scherr and Eric Redbeard, they are scheduled to take on Bully Ray and his tag team partner Enzo, teaming for the first time since July 2016. The two men are of course former members of the infamous WWE stable The Wyatt family alongside Luke Harper and leader Bray Wyatt. Whilst the group debuted on WWE's main roster in 2013, it wasn't until 2015 that Strowman would be added to the group. The last time Redbeard and Scherr would team up was at a WWE live event in Augusta, Georgia in a 6-man tag match with Bray Wyatt, losing to the New Day. Now let's get back to some AEW news, as two members of their roster have tested positive for that virus. According to Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer, the Elite's Matt Jackson and Brandon Cutler have tested positive and will now miss tonight's AEW Dynamite TBS premiere, although they won't be the only ones missing. Due to Matt's brother and Young Bucks tag team partner Nick being in close contact with one or both of them, he will also be absent from the show as a safety precaution, although at this point there is no word on if he also has the virus. All three men are said to be in California and haven't travelled for the show. Nick Jackson has previously spoke of his battle with the virus in September 2020, which affected him for nearly 3 months, so let's just hope everybody is okay in this situation. Whilst the Young Bucks weren't officially announced for a match on tonight's show, it was likely that they were set to continue the Elite Undisputed Era storyline, something that will now be on hold. This week at Wrestle Kingdom 16, Kazuchika Okada would come out on top in the main event to win the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship on night 1. Before the shows, Okada would speak with Sports Illustrated, where he would be asked about the possibility of wrestling two top AEW wrestlers, with CM Punk and Bryan Danielson being on his bucket list for future matches, and Okada would reveal, Danielson and Punk would make for some incredible matches. A lot of those dream match scenarios are about getting excited for the possibilities, and once the match is done, it's done. So it is important to keep that excitement and anticipation, I think. Still, if we wait too long, they'll both retire eventually, so I want to face them both while they're still active. Okada has never crossed paths with either man, although with the forbidden door between New Japan and AEW currently wide open, the match is now more likely than ever. CM Punk has responded to the article on his Twitter account and he said, "Here's my address, come see me here," and then he added the address for the United Center, the home of the Chicago Bulls, as well as his AEW debut. Okada is at the top of every AEW fan list of potential jumps from New Japan, and the Rainmaker himself seems keen on wrestling their biggest stars with a possible showdown between CM Punk and Okada at the United Center on the cards. And finally, let's end on some even more exciting news, as it has been confirmed that a big signing is heading to All Elite Wrestling soon. But before we get there, if you could do me a huge favor and subscribe to the WrestlePlanet Shorts channel, that would help me out a lot. And there will be brief news updates as well as exclusive content uploaded there, so if you're interested, make sure you check it out. But let's carry on with the story. AEW President Tony Khan would appear in an interview with Josh Martinez of Z100 last night, ahead of tonight's AEW Dynamite TBS debut. Off the back of several huge debuts in AEW as of late, Khan would be asked if there's any more to come. Josh would ask Khan if there is any, quote, dream signings on the way, and Khan would respond, "There is. They are in North America and they're coming pretty soon, and it's going to be awesome. I'm very excited." It's currently unclear who Tony is referring to, although we know that the free agency market is currently stacked to the brim. Big names that are available include the former Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, Keith Lee, Johnny Gargano, Ember Moon, and Jeff Hardy, just to name a few. It's also possible that Khan could be referring to Ric Flair, who Andrade has teased on Twitter. Whilst it's going to be tough to top the debuts of CM Punk and Bryan Danielson in 2021, it seems that big surprises in All Elite Wrestling aren't a thing of the past as we head into 2022. AEW Dynamite will debut tonight on TBS, which feels like the perfect place for a major debut, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But who do you hope this dream signing is? Let me know in the comments down below. And before you go, make sure you check out my video where I discuss 12 of the most obscure WWE appearances by AEW wrestlers.